Hi, I'm Ray. I'm a pirate activist from Norway. I'm here with Rico Brouwer, who is our resident podcast expert. Today, we're interviewing the number two candidate for the EU elections from the Pirate Party of Sweden. She is, I think, the vice president of one of the oldest parties, or, well, it's the oldest party, isn't it?
Yes.
Happy May Day, Katarina. Just tell me a little bit about yourself, your name, profession, and maybe describe your political background.
Sure. Hi, nice to be here. My name is Katarina Stensson. I'm like you said, the vice president of the Swedish Pirate Party and the number two on our list for these EU elections coming up. I am I'm an engineer, trained engineer in engineering physics. So I've also have a research degree in physics, quantum optics. My field, but I stopped with research this last summer. And since then, I've been running a startup within digital education. We work towards developing countries, mainly Uganda to start with. And also in parallel with that, actually studying some pedagogics, so like a complementary teacher's degree. So the last few weeks I've been out in a school teaching 13 and 14-year-olds math and physics.
Wow.
So my profession is a bit complicated. If I should say it with one word, I'm a problem solver, I would say. My history in politics is actually not very long. I've been the vice president for the Pirate Party for 1.5 years soon. And before that, only been active in the party for 1 or 2 years, but I'm getting a hold of it. I'm getting used to it now. It's my background is mainly I've been involved in a lot of civil society organizations as well. So I come from that background and my political interest. Although my political interest has been there before, but my being active in politics is fairly new to me.
Cool. Quite well educated, one could say then. I hope your exams went well. What would you say are the causes, political or otherwise, that are closer to your heart or define you? What makes your blood boil or your heart get warm?
Several things, but maybe as you could see from my last answer was that specifically education is very close to my heart, and freedom of knowledge, and which is very closely connected to the Pirate Party's foundation, but also care a lot about and get excited about innovation and entrepreneurship, and also science, of course, is physics is really I'm a real nerd. Honestly, I love especially modern physics. Gets my mind moving.
Yeah, quantum electronics, was it? Pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is.
So where do we go from here? Have you been campaigning a lot, like traveling around the country and stuff? If you have you had fun, or is it grueling?
Yeah, but not as much as I would have wanted to. It's getting more intense now to the end of the closer we get to the elections. But yeah, we had our this Saturday we had a meeting here in Stockholm, like starting up the campaigning here with the local pirates, and there's been it's really fun to get going, to be out and talk to people, both voters and our members and activists.
Okay, so I'm wondering what made you decide to become or try to become a member of parliament, and what you look forward to if you get elected?
I think there's a big change happening in society, and it's been happening now for a couple of decades with the internet, which is in fact, information revolution, like the printing press, and that it creates a lot of opportunities in society for to create a more democratic society where power is better divided. And I think that there is also, although the opportunity is there for all these positive changes and better participation in politics, for example, there's also the possibility for those who have economic and political power to use the internet for strengthening their control. And I think it's really important that we have politicians, both in national parliaments and in the EU, who protect citizens' rights and consumer rights in the market as well, because this is not just governments, also big economic players, to actually, so that we can actually use these positive opportunities that the internet brings and not, divert into the dystopia that can also be. So that's what I want to do in the EU, is to defend citizens' rights and consumer rights.
Okay, digital rights, quite important. And as the internet has become closer and closer integrated with us, the way we're fused to smartphones, for instance, or fused to the internet, actually, it is almost like human rights we are touching upon. So I hope we have a lot of pirates in the EU this election.
Me too.
Yeah, when you look at the EU now, what do you see are the main issues it's facing right now? It would be natural, of course, to think about Brexit, but what are the main issues for the EU right now, and how would you address those if you've gotten that far yet?
I think that Brexit and other negative views on the EU originate in the fact that we don't feel that we can really affect what's happening, and I think it's really important to work with anti-corruption and transparency in the EU, and also with the EU member states, to try to strengthen the democracy in the whole of the EU and build trust in our institutions. I think that's really, really important. And then there are, of course, lots of other challenges as well that we need to solve. It's hard to mention all of them now, but I think there are some fundamental issues around transparency and trust, and the possibility for citizens of Europe to actually affect the politics and the legislation in the EU.
So for the people in Sweden, what are the questions that they ask you when you're campaigning? What is most important for them?
So it varies a lot, of course, but if you look at the political landscape in Sweden right now, we had national elections in September, and it took, I think, there was 4 months of negotiations before they managed to form a government, minority government, which is like left green, and they are supported then also by center liberals, or they call themselves liberals. And the only opposition basically is the nationalists and conservatives. And this means that the political discussions in Sweden right now are actually a lot about the kind of conflict points of these two groups, which means there's a lot of discussions about immigration. There are a lot of discussions about how to fight crimes and security. There are also some discussions around climate and environment. I think those are like the biggest things that people are discussing in Sweden in politics now, and it's kind of sad that, I mean, these are of course these are questions that are come up both in national and the EU level, but it's very little discussions around actual EU issues or EU legislations and stuff. It's a lot about people. It's a lot of like talking about values rather than actual political actions, and a lot of accusations and shitstorms. It's really not a very nice. It's hard to have constructive debates and discussions.
Same
I think right now.
All over. Same in Holland. I don't know how it's in Norway, but same here.
Yeah.
Well, I can't. I'm too close to Norway. I can't even describe how it works, and politics is not my thing. I'm very worried about the wave of, let's call it, right-wing populism, if that's a palatable expression, and we see it in country after country where they haven't had a foothold for a long time. We see them, almost get 12, 15%. And become a deciding factor in governments, and it scares me a lot. We have a right-wing populist in our coalition government in Norway, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. Anyway, Rick Falkring founded the Pirate Party. Must be 2009. In 2011, I think it was, he was on the list of the 100 most influential people in the world, Time magazine. I think just a couple of weeks ago, a young woman from Sweden joined that list this year. Can you tell us about her?
Yeah, you're talking about Greta Thunberg, I suppose. Yes. Yeah, and there is a lot of, like I mentioned, there is a lot of discussions around climate change. But also in that, she's this, she's 16, I think, or something, and she's been doing these school strikes. First, she started alone, sitting every Friday outside the national parliament here in Sweden, and with her sign and wanting politicians to take action on, to stop climate change. And it's really grown, and she got an amazing support from the whole world, and it's super cool to see how young people really get involved in issues that are really important for our future. So yeah, it's really cool. But I think unfortunately she's gotten a lot of, there also in this area, there's a lot of people who are just saying stupid stuff like, oh, shouldn't she be in school, or she doesn't know what she's talking about, or whatever. And I think it's really sad, because it's amazing to see young people really getting involved in these important issues.
And on that note, we're going to end it, because that's perfect. It's not my generation nor yours who's going to fix this world. It needs fixing. It's the young ones. I would like to thank you very much for making this very easy for me, and good luck with the elections.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.